Henry Stickmin games are a series of choose-your-own-adventure style point-and-click action games where you decide the fate and help to shape the life of the protagonist stickman character, Henry Stickmin. But what if there was something more sinister going on in the game? And what if the options you were offered for Henry were much less fun and more horrific in nature? Welcome back, my fellow gamers. Today we'll be counting down the top 10 Henry Stickmin Creepypastas. Ooh, these games can be funny, but did you know they can also be scary? But before we get to it, I need to let you know about something exciting that is happening, something amazing that is coming back. Our old channel, Land in Production, is coming back to life and you need to check it out.
Is the Canada Goose gonna take it on?
I'm on top like I'm goddamn Mario, right? I'm just
Not today! Maybe tomorrow! Okay, is this real life right now?
Head on over to Land in Production on YouTube and smash that sub if you haven't already to support the channel. Now, let's get counting. Number 10, die, die, die. And then die some more. One time my friend told me they went on to play Breaking the Bank, but something happened and their game glitched out. Apparently they believe they accessed some alternative version of the game written into the code but locked away and hidden. They started out playing as Ellie and were attempting to break into the bank, but instead of the normal options, their only options were die, 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 die. Each one yielded different results, but every ending was bloody whether it granted success or failure. The game was also timed, giving them added pressure to select the correct die option as fast as possible with no other knowledge as to what would happen. Number 9, hyper real version. I played a bootleg version of the game that was described in the description on the browser I downloaded it from as being hyper real. Imagine what it is like to be Henry Stickmin, the description read. I was curious, so I downloaded it and got ready to play, but I wasn't really ready for what happened next. When the game loaded up, I saw Henry, but instead of him being a cartoon stickman, he was like an emaciated human. His bones showed through his skin, but he had a huge bulbous head. His eyes took up 80% of his face and his mouth was very small and very close to the ear on the left side of his body. He was bald and I watched in horror as his eyebrows, dripping with blood, seemed to levitate above his face, but were actually raised off of his scalp with some kind of clear plastic sticks. I felt my stomach churn and I ran to the bathroom to be sick. When I came back, my computer had crashed, and when I managed to reset it, the game was gone. I haven't been able to find the site I downloaded it from since, although I honestly can't say I'd be happy to find it again. Number 8, The Triple Threat Show, episode 666. The Triple Threat Show was a show I used to love to watch on A983 network. If you don't believe me that it's real, you can search it on YouTube. The show is inspired by Henry Stickmin and centers around a talk show featuring him, Ellie Rose, Charles Calvin, Helia, Tunia, and many others. I knew the show was dark, but I never knew it was this dark. I found a DVD one time that appeared when we were out on a hike. The DVD was not branded, but it had written in Sharpie on the front, The Triple Threat Show, Henry Goes Mad. Being that I love that show, we decided to take the DVD home and play it. When it started, after we hit play, a title card came up that read episode 666, Henry Goes Mad. The episode featured a story where we saw Henry and all of his friends die, many of them stabbed to death by Henry himself. Ellie eventually attempted to get revenge on Henry for killing everyone, shooting Henry right in the face, but he swatted the bullet back at her, killing her instead. It ended with a montage of all the death at one point, and I just couldn't hold back my tears or my disgust at this traumatizing episode. We destroyed the DVD and threw it away, but be warned, if you ever find a DVD with the words Triple Threat Show, Henry Goes Mad, do not pick it up. The episode was so horrifying and awful that I cried myself to sleep. Number 7, Extra Gore. This is a hacked version of the game that you used to be able to find for Infiltrating the Airship. I'm not sure if it's still around anymore, but like I said, it used to be. In this version of the game, every failure is more horrifying because it's gory, super gory. When you are crushed, you see Henry's eyes pop out of his head. When doors are closing all around you, instead of putting a crumpled dent in one, you are sliced in half and you see Henry's guts explode out of him. The gore is super realistic to the point that when I played this hacked version, I actually vomited. There are never any deaths here that aren't horrific. One in the hamster ball resulted in me being tossed around in the ball and watching as every bone in Henry's body broke with the realistic sound effects. It wasn't quick, it was like a 30-second animated death. What's more, they make Henry look less cartoony and somehow more real. real. There is a rumor that this version of the game was made by a deranged former doctor who actually used real images from real patients to create some of the gore used in it. Number 6. Infiltrating the Airship hacked version. It was a Friday night, meaning I didn't have school tomorrow. I had finished breaking the bank, escaping the prison, and stealing the diamond when it came to the Harry Stickmin games, so I searched around for Infiltrating the Airship. I couldn't find the original game, but I did find a hacked version. A modded version of the game I'd already played sounded cool. I hopped on Discord and started a call with two of my friends, which I'll name here as Jacob and Diego. I was trying to get to the rank of government-supported private investigator. The initial cutscene was the same, but this time when I chose to use the vacuum, I noticed that instead of the person being stuck in the vacuum, they were torn to pieces inside, shredded and gruesomely killed. During a fail, I noticed Henry was stabbed and covered in blood before being tossed from the airship. The game seemed to continue on this way and was much more violent than the original. The first fail screen I got read as the description, "Oh yeah, I forgot. Death is very common in stick figures." I could only play for so long before I needed to log off. I was so traumatized. I went to bed early in an attempt to clear my head. Number 5. Secret ending. This was a supposed secret ending for fleeing the complex, where instead of being stuck in prison, being betrayed, or escaping, you become the prison guard. The game goes on for quite a bit longer, and you're forced to punish other prisoners, including your potential ally Ellie. You are forced to torture them, and in the end, you have to kill Ellie for trying to escape. You have no choices to spare people as you are undercover as a prison guard and must maintain this secret identity. All you can do is choose how to kill and how to torture people. I have never found this secret ending, but I have heard that it exists from a few other friends who are obsessed with the Henry Stickmin games. Number 4. The give up option. I was about to play a fan-made version of Henry Stickmin. This one was called Escaping the Prison, the give up option. I decided for fun to record my playthrough. This is what happened next. The game started. The cutscene, however, did not appear to load. Weird, I thought. One of the options that I saw available read, give up. I'd never seen this option before, so I clicked it. When I did, the screen seemed to glitch quickly before going to a black screen for about 10 seconds. Then it came back on and showed a scene where Harry Stickmin hung himself. There was some eerie music in the background. I was horrified. The game over screen then appeared, but instead of saying fail, it said good job, you killed Henry. I exited the game and immediately deleted it. Number 3. Hungry Henry. There is a rumor online that somewhere on the dark web you can find a version of this game where Henry is a cannibal and seeks to eat anyone who opposes him that gets in his way. All the options are eat and show a picture of a knife and fork. There are no fails, as every time you eat you are successful. You then have to watch Henry kill and eat his enemies. And there is apparently a lot of blood and gore in the game, and a lot of creepy smiles from Henry at the prospect of eating people. The only way you fail is when you eat too much, which seems to happen randomly. Sometimes you'll eat, and if you've eaten more than 20 people, there is a small chance that Henry will explode, splattering a bloody mess on the screen with a game over title card that reads fail, spelled out with what looks like intestines. Number 2. Insane smile. I have never experienced this option in the game, but my friend swears they did, and they have screen caps to prove it, so I believe them. This was something that was shared with me a while ago. It was described that while playing Fleeing the Complex, my friend was given an option while facing some guards and trying to get around to smile. No one I know other than them has ever described or seen this option in the game. They selected smile also because they had never seen it before and like dancing and thought that it would also be a funny option. It was not. What they saw next was Henry's smile so wide that it looked painful. His smile passed the side of his face, and it also was animated to look bloody, like he had smiled his lips apart or something. If he had lips, I guess. When he went up to the guards with his smile, they were about to attack him, but then he just forced their mouths to smile using his hands to pull their lips into a grin, wider and wider until their faces were torn apart. Number 1. Henry. Don't play hacked versions of this game. I cannot warn you enough. It's not worth it. You can hurt yourself. I played a hacked version once called Henry. It posed that it told a new story, one where Henry had been kidnapped and captured and was being interrogated. You have to survive the interrogation to continue. It was also VR, which I found pretty interesting and was what initially drew me to it. A VR version of an old Flash style game? Weird but intriguing. I had to play it. I got much more than I bargained for though, when it came to the interactive experience. What the description didn't mention was that this was a torture game, and that once you put the VR headset on, you would not be able to get it off, no matter what you tried. The game wouldn't let you exit or unplug it until you finished, and you had to watch every gruesome torture scene and experience it before the game would end. At one point, I even felt like I was physically being tortured alongside Henry. When he was burned, my skin felt hot. When he was stabbed, I felt a sharp pain. It was horrifying. Do not play hacked versions of this game. Don't do it. Wow, with all its charm and various hilarious references to all kinds of games, I never thought this game could be so dark. And yet, I never thought these games could be so dark, and yet, here we are. People look for darkness in even the brightest of places because I guess they just enjoy being scared so much. I'm assuming that's why you're all here. This was Top 10 Gaming, and I'm your host Amanda McKnight, saying thank you so much for watching and reminding you till next time to keep on gaming on. Pew pew!